Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 18th chapter, Parikshit cursed by a Brahmana boy, text number 42 and 43. Navaindrabhir naradevam parakhyam Sammatumarhasya vipakva buddhe Yat tejasa durvishahena gupta Vindanti bhadranya kuto bhaya praja. Text 43. Alakshamane naradeva namni Rathangapana vayamangalokaha Tadahi chaura prachuro vinangshati Arakshamano vivaruthavat kshana. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. O my boy, your intelligence is immature, and therefore you have no knowledge that the king, who is the best amongst human beings, is as good as the personality of Godhead. He is never to be placed on an equal footing with common men. The citizens of the state live in prosperity, being protected by his unsurpassable prowess. My dear boy, the Lord who carries the wheel of a chariot is represented by the monarchical regime, and when this regime is abolished, the whole world becomes filled with thieves, who then at once vanquish the unprotected subjects like scattered limbs. Purport. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, the monarchical regime represents the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. The king is said to be the representative of the absolute personality of Godhead because he is trained to acquire the qualities of God to protect the living beings. The battle of Kurukshetra was planned by the Lord to establish the real representative of the Lord, Maharaja Yudhishthira. An ideal king thoroughly trained by culture and devotional service with the martial spirit makes a perfect king. Such a personal monarchy is far better than the so-called democracy of no training and responsibility. The thieves and rogues of modern democracy seek election by misrepresentation of votes, and the successful rogues and thieves devour the mass of population. One trained monarch is far better than hundreds of useless ministerial rogues, and it is hinted herein that by abolition of a monarchical regime like that of Maharaj Parikshit, the mass of people become open to many attacks of the age of Kali. They are never happy in an overly advertised form of democracy. The result of such a kingless administration is described in the following verses. So this chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Parikshit cursed by a Brahmana boy. So previous to this, we have seen how Parikshit Maharaj encountered Kali and punished him. And later on, we saw how by the will of the providence, Parikshit Maharaj put a snake around the neck of Shamika Rishi. And this news, Shamika Rishi, who was in trance, meditating, and this news reaches his son, Shringi, who was playing with other boys. And Shringi curses Maharaj Parikshit that he uses so many words for Maharaj Parikshit that is described by his father here, that you are immature intelligence. Your intelligence is not mature. That boy Shringi curses Parikshit Maharaj that he should die with on the 7th day by the snake bite. And later on, Shamika Rishi comes to know about this curse given by his son to Parikshit Maharaj. And he is very worried. Shamika Rishi is very worried by the acts of his son. And he is telling his son that what kind of mistake he has done. So that is described in these two verses. And here we see the contrast between how Shringi saw Parikshit Maharaj and how Rishi, he is seeing Parikshit Maharaj. So Shringi was thinking that the king is like a watchdog. And he also compared him to a crow. So this shows the immaturity of Shringi. Although he was born in a Brahmana family, but he was not fully developed into knowledge and culture. And somehow he had that some kind of superiority complex. He was thinking that he is superior to the Kshatriyas. Not only superiors, he was treating them on the level of animals, not even on the level of human beings. So Shringi had this kind of contamination. And because of that, out of this contamination, and generally a Brahmana is supposed to be in Sattvaguna, and he is to have the quality of tolerance and forgiveness. But Shringi became very, very passionate. He became overcome by Rajoguna. And he thought that this King Parikshit has insulted my father. And again, bodily concept of life, thinking that he is my father. And considering that, he wanted to punish Maharaj Parikshit for this act. So he curses him. Contrast to what Shringi was thinking about Parikshit Maharaj, now here we see the understanding of Shamika Rishi, who is mature and who is also a transcendentalist. He is not a materialistic person. So he is saying, Navai nribihi naradevam parakyam sammatu marhasi avipakva buddhe. So he is saying that the king, he is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is called Naradeva, means he is representing Krishna in this world. So king is the representative of the Lord. And he should never be compared with common people. Therefore, you have no knowledge that the king, who is the best amongst human beings, is as good as the personality of Godhead. Yat tejasa durvishahena gupta vindanti bhadrani akuto bhayaha prajaha. So, king is like how a father is there for a family. So, the same way for all the citizens, all the prajas. So, he is like a maintainer and the protector. Just like father protects the family members. So, the same way, the entire kingdom and the Vedic idea of citizens is not only human beings. Praja means anybody who has taken birth on that land, he is called the Praja. So it includes all living entities, including animals, birds, plants. All living entities, they are protected by the king. Yat tejasa durvishahena gupta vindanti bhadrani akuto bhayaha praja. The citizens of the state live in prosperity, being protected by his unsurpassable prowess. And when a king is a true representative of Krishna, then automatically he also gets empowered by Krishna, so that he can curb any kind of unwanted elements in the society. And under the rule of such a king, there is prosperity. The citizens of the state live in prosperity. So Shamika Rishi is saying this because he would have seen the rule of Parikshit Maharaj, and also just before that there was the rule of Yudhishthir Maharaj. So in the Bhagavatam there is a description that how during Parikshit Maharaj, Yudhishthir Maharaj's rule, there is a shloka in the Bhagavatam which describes. It comes in the 10th chapter. We are in the 18th chapter. So in the 10th chapter, 4th shloka, Kamam Vavarsha Parjanyaha Sarva Kama Dugha Mahi Sishuchuhusma Vrajan Gavaha Payasodhvaswatir Muda. During the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthir, the clouds showered all the water that people needed, and the earth produced all the necessities of man in profusion. Due to its fatty milk bag, the cheerful attitude, the cow used to moisten the grazing ground with milk. So this is the description of the prosperity during Parikshit Maharaj's regime. So the clouds used to shower all the water that people needed. Actually, the human beings, they subsist on nature's supply. Whatever modern, in the name of advancement, whatever different gadgets and transportation, connectivity, all those things are there. Actually, they are not the cause of peace and prosperity in the society. Actually, the living being, they live happily if there is a sufficient supply of food grains from the nature. That Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita, that how the cycle, Yajnat Bhavati Parjanyo, when one performs sacrifice, then there is a rainfall, then Parjanyad Anna Sambhava, then there is a profuse production of the food grains, and also there are rivers and oceans and hills which supply different kinds of minerals, herbs, and oceans give a lot of jewels, just like pearl is produced with the oyster shell. So we live in peace and prosperity by the nature's supply, not by this so-called material advancement. So during Parikshit Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj's time, so there was profuse supply of rain, and because of that the earth used to produce all the necessities what a man needs, and also the cows play a very important role in peace and prosperity of the human society, because the milk is a miraculous food. Now this is the only, there is some scientific basis also that how milk is very a wonderful kind of nutritious food. So this milk is very, very essential for development of the intelligence also, the brain substance which can understand the spiritual values, and also for performing sacrifices there is a need of the ghee or the clarified butter from the milk. So the cows also play a very important role in peace and prosperity of the human society, and Krishna is also celebrated as Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitayacha. He is the protector of the cows and the Brahmanas. So this is the real cause of peace and prosperity in the society, and these things flourish when there is a true representative of Krishna who is ruling the world. And under his protection, the citizens of the state live in prosperity, being protected by his unsurpassable prowess. So the king plays the role of the Supreme Lord in his absence. When Krishna is not present on this earth, then king is the representative of Krishna who takes care of the mission of Krishna. So in the Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, Krishna describes Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam Vivaswan Manave Praha Manurikshvakave Abravit. So, Gita, Krishna says that I spoke this many millions of years ago to sun god. Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam Vivaswan Manave Praha. And Vivaswan in turn told it to Manu, and Manu told it to Ikshvaku. Manu Ikshvakave Abravit. Next Krishna says Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakaleneha mahata yogo nashtaha parantapa. So here Krishna is telling that this knowledge of yoga or our relationship with God and how to re-establish that relationship with Krishna and how to go back to the spiritual world. So this knowledge is taught to the Rajarshis in a disciplic succession. So here we see that how this important knowledge is given to the kings who are the true representative of Krishna. And when there is no such representative, what happens? Sakaleneha mahata yogo nashtaha parantapa. Then this knowledge also gets lost. Sa evayam mayatedya yogaha proktaha puratanaha bhaktosime sakha cheti rahasyam hi etad uttamam. So when this knowledge gets apparently lost, then again Krishna comes to re-establish this knowledge. And here Krishna is telling that I am telling the same knowledge to you which I had told formerly to Vivaswan, and in that way it came into the human society. Now it is lost. Because you are my devotee and you are my friend, therefore I am giving you this rahasyam. This is the most confidential, most secret knowledge. I am revealing it to you. Then Arjuna asks that how you are saying that we both are born recently, we are contemporaries, and how can I know that you spoke this to Vivaswan? Then Krishna explains that bahuni me vetitani janmani tavacha Arjuna, both me and you have taken many births, but I remember all of them and you do not remember it. So that is the difference between Krishna and a living entity. Although we have got many births, but we don't have the memory of our previous lives because our body changes. As soon as the body changes, the memory of that body also goes, and again we start fresh with a new body. But Krishna, when he comes, that Krishna tells in the next, ajopi san avyaya atma bhutanam ishwaropi san prakritim swam adhishtaya sambhavami atma mayaya. So although I am unborn, ajaha api, and avyaya atma, my body never deteriorates. We all have got this body, and this body deteriorates. It doesn't remain as it is. So it's always undergoing transformation. It is always undergoing 6 kinds of transformation. Shadvikara it is called. It comes into existence, then it grows, then it stays in the same form for some time, and then it produces byproducts. It starts dwindling and then it vanishes. Just like we take birth, we grow, then there is a youthful life, then there is we produce children, and then gradually the body becomes old, then death takes place. So this is true for any material substance. Not only this human body, any material substance you take, it undergoes this 6 transformation. It is called Shad Vikaras. Vikara means change. So here Krishna says, Ajopi san avyaya atma. So my body is avyaya. It doesn't get exhausted. Vyaya means spending. As you go on spending, the money gets reduced. Suppose you have got 1000 rupees, you go on spending, then the money is slowly reducing. So vyaya is happening. So avyaya means it is inexhaustible. It never deteriorates. So Krishna's body never deteriorates. Why Krishna's body never deteriorates? Because it is not made of material substance. It is not made of these panchabhutas. Krishna's, he comes in prakritim swam adhishtaya. So I come in my own original spiritual body. Because his body is not changing. Krishna just comes and he goes. And he is the same person. So his memory also does not deteriorate. And his memory also, generally our memory, we have got a material brain, and that brain keeps the memory of different things what we come across in our life, and that brain powers gradually goes on reducing. So as a person becomes old, gradually his memory also deteriorates. But Krishna, he is not having a material body like how we have with all the different parts. So his body is transcendental, and his memory also never deteriorates. Therefore, he clearly remembers that I spoke this to many millions of years ago to Vivaswan. And in fact, in the purport, Prabhupada mentions that even Arjuna was present when Krishna was telling this Bhagavad Gita to Vivaswan. Because Arjuna is a constant companion of Krishna. So even you were present, but you have forgotten, I have not forgotten, because my body never changes. Then Krishna tells very important two things, which are very famous verses also. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tada atmanam srajamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So I come to re-establish the lost religious principles. So whenever there is a decline in the religious principles, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati, and there is a rise in irreligion, abhyuthanam adharmasya tada atmanam srajami aham. So I descend myself. And for what purpose? Paritranaya sadhunam, to deliver or to save the pious, the saintly devotees, and to annihilate the miscreant, and to re-establish the principles of religion. I advent myself millennium after millennium. So here we see that Krishna wants this material world to be conducted under the religious principles. So Krishna wants that people should form religious life, and there are different grades of religious life, and the ultimate religion or the real religion is to surrender to Krishna. Because in the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, here he is telling that I come to re-establish dharma samsthapanarthaya. And in the last chapter, Krishna says, sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. So the ultimate religion is to surrender to Krishna. So Krishna comes to re-establish that real religion where one has to surrender to Krishna and go back to the spiritual world. And whenever Krishna comes, he doesn't stay here forever. Krishna is present in the spiritual world always. He is in front of his devotees always. Always devotees can see him, meet him, associate with him. But this world, Krishna comes at different intervals. He is not present personally always. And when he is not there, he wants the king to take charge of his work, which is to protect the devotees and kill the miscreants. And such kings, they are supposed to be Raja Rishis. Raja Rishi means they are supposed to be saintly. They are supposed to be like the sages, but they are sitting on a king's throne. And in this purport we see, Prabhupada is explaining, an ideal king thoroughly trained by culture and devotional service with the martial spirit makes a perfect king. So who is a perfect king? That he is thoroughly trained by culture and devotional service. He is trained into the culture and he is trained into the devotional service. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying that I taught this science of Krishna consciousness to Vivaswan. So Krishna personally taught this to Vivaswan, and then in the disciplic succession it came down from Vivaswan to his son, like that way into the human society. So that training and culture is required, and with the martial spirit. So a king cannot be a coward, a king cannot be non-violent. Whenever there is a need, he has to become violent to kill the miscreants. So this paritranaya sadhunam and vinashaya cha dushkritam, protecting the devotees and killing the miscreants who create unnecessary trouble for the devotees. So that Krishna maintains this world, that is the function of Krishna in this world. Although he is the cause of entire creation, maintenance and destruction, ultimately he is the cause, but specifically, personally he takes charge of the maintenance of this material world, which requires protecting the devotees and punishing the miscreants, because this world is full of conditioned souls, baddha jivas. Everyone here, we all who have come to this material world, we all have got contamination, and somebody who is too much contaminated, they become envious of God and envious of the devotees, and they start giving trouble to the devotees. So we see in the lives of Ravana or Hiranyakashipu, so they used to harass the devotees, and when there is such a extraordinary, very very powerful demons, then Krishna personally comes to kill them and re-establish the religion. All other time, Krishna wants that there has to be a ideal king. There has to be a Rajarshi who can take care of the citizens. And what the king is supposed to do? So, he is supposed to protect the citizens, re-establish the religion, and also by his personal behavior, by his personal character, he is supposed to set an example for the citizens. So Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Yadyad acharati shrestha tattadeva itaro janaha. Whatever a great man, whatever acts a great man performs, so the other common citizens, they follow it. Now also we see, now a lot of very trending things like influencers we see on social media, YouTube channels or Instagram. So they are called influencers. Why they are called influencers? Because they have attained a state of Shrestha, they have become popular in the society. And lot of people follow them. Whatever acts they do, the common man also, they try to imitate their action. So those who are in such a position of an influencer, so king is supposed to have the highest influence on the citizens because entire kingdom is under him. And if that king is a ideal devotee, he is a Rajarshi, then what happens? Automatically the whole kingdom, they will start following the king. And they will also become devotees. And the king is also establishing different ways in which the citizens could become Krishna conscious. Formerly, the kings used to establish very big temples. In the earlier ages and all, they used to conduct different sacrifices, just like Maharaj Yudhishthir conducted Rajasuya Yajna and other sacrifices. We get information from the Vedic literatures. And especially in the Dwapar Yuga and in the beginning of Kali Yuga, the kings used to establish very large temples for the common mass of the people so that they can come and take advantage of the temple worship and become Krishna conscious. So, king is not only personally showing by his example how to live like a ideal devotee, and is also creating a system in the society where the common men also, they are also able to practice Krishna consciousness by the way of temple worship and other different activities. And also the king ensures that there are no sinful activities which are penetrating into the society. Just like we saw in the previous chapters, in case of Maharaj Parikshit, as soon as he sensed that Kali has entered into his kingdom and people are getting indulged into sinful activity, immediately he set out on a tour of his kingdom to ensure that all these things are curbed in the beginning only. Just like whenever there is a riot or something, they take out a military march. You would have seen in the news and all. If there is a riot happening or somewhere and all, to maintain the peace in the society, they will bring some battalions of soldiers and all, and they will take a march in that area where the riot is happening. So when they see that all these army people or police people, they have come, so the citizens or especially the miscreants, they get scared and they will stop their that disturbing activities. So Parikshit Maharaj immediately set out into his kingdom so that people come to know that king is personally involved into this. He has personally come and he is ensuring that people don't indulge into sinful activities. And it so happens that he actually encounters the Kali who was trying to harm a cow and a bull. And he immediately wants to kill the Kali Purusha. But he surrenders, and the Kshatriya principle is if someone surrenders, then they are forgiven. But he says that you cannot stay in my kingdom. But by the will of providence, Kali requests that I am also one of your citizen. So I also need your protection. So please give me some places where I can live. Then Parikshit Maharaj gives the places of the 4 sinful activities. If they are happening there, then you can live there. So that is meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex and gambling. And also he gives them a place, and Kali Purusha says that in your kingdom all these 4 things are nowhere I can see. So I don't have any place to stay. So give me some other place other than these 4. Then he says, okay, you can stay in a place where there is gold. So generally wherever there is a gold, there is greed, there is envy. So he gives him that place. So then ideal king, a Rajarshi like Maharaj Yudhishthir or Parikshit Maharaj, or formerly also there were kings like Ambarish Maharaj. So Ambarish Maharaj's life we see from the Srimad Bhagavatam, that how he used to live an ideal life of a devotee. Although he was a king, king means he will have so many things to take care, so many departments, so many things he has to take care, but still amidst of all those busy activities, he used to always perform devotional service. So there is a description in the Bhagavatam that how Savai Manaha Krishna Padaravindayoho. So he used to always engage his mind in thinking of the lotus feet of Krishna. Savai Manaha Krishna Padaravindayo Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanu Varanane. So whenever he used to talk glorifying Krishna. So that way there is a description of how he used to engage all his limbs in Krishna's service. Tasting, he used to use for tasting the tulsi leaves, and his head he used to use it for bowing down before the deity, and his legs he used to walk to the temple, and he personally used to Karau Harer Mandira Marjanadishu. Although he is the king, he has got so many servants. If he has to clean a temple, what he can do? He can just order, hey, go and clean the temple. But he would not do that. What he used to do? Karau Harer Mandira Marjanadishu. He used to personally go and do some menial services in the temple. So that way he engaged all his sensory functions in Krishna's service. So that is the ideal king, that is a Rajarshi. So that kind of king Krishna wants. And Shamika Rishi also knows this here, that that is the role of a king. And in the absence of such a king, so next he says, Alakshamane Naradeva Namni Rathangapana Ayamanga Lokaha. So Alakshamane Naradeva Namni. So when there is no such monarchical regime where there are ideal kings, just like Parikshit Maharaj, then his son, Yudhishthir Maharaj, then his grandson Parikshit Maharaj. So when there is no such monarchical regime, then what happens? The whole world becomes filled with thieves. Then who will take over? Thieves will take over the kingdom. So they will become kings. If there is no a king like a Rajarshi or a true representative of Krishna. So what is the job of a thief? Thief's job is to loot the people, kill the people, loot the people. So if somebody who is a thief and rogue, he occupies the post of a king or the ruler, what he will do? He will, who then at once vanquish the unprotected subjects like scattered lambs. So here the example is given like a scattered lambs. Generally lambs, it is a very, it is not very strong, at least dogs and all. If something is, they can bark, they have got teeth, they have got nails. But these lambs, they don't have anything to protect themselves. They don't have any that canine teeth, or they don't have nails. So they are very, very meek. They are very, very innocent. And always there is a shepherd who is taking care of the lambs. So if there is no shepherd who is taking care of the lambs, then what will happen? There are wild animals like foxes or tiger or lions. So immediately they will pounce on these unprotected scattered lambs. So compared to these lambs or the sheep, the citizens also generally they are ignorant. They don't know what is the ultimate aim of life. Unless they are educated, unless there is a system, unless there is a culture where automatically they can become Krishna conscious. If these things are not there, then they are very, very ignorant. They are like these lambs or sheep who doesn't know anything. So generally you would have seen that sheep, if one sheep if you pull, then everybody will go. I don't know if you have that experience. In the villages and all, you will see that lambs will be there. They will be in a very, very big crowd. So if you want to take them from one place to another place, you don't have to do something for everybody to go. Just you have to pull one person, that one lamb. And if that goes, then that's all. Everybody will simply blindly follow that sheep. So the common people, they are also like that. So if the king is not a true representative of Krishna, and if he is not a Rajarshi, then what will happen? Whichever way they guide them, all the people will simply follow. And if the person who is leading them, he is blind. So Bhagavatam describes that andha yathander upagiyamana. One blind man leading so many, a group of blind men. And what will happen? Everybody will go and fall into the ditch. So if the leaders, they themselves do not know what is the aim of life, why we have got this human form of life, if they do not know this, then they will guide the citizens into so many things, and they will simply follow whatever the leader says. Just like we had different politicians in our country formerly, now also we have got different politicians. So they come up with some idea and they say that yes, this is what we should be doing. And what happens? Common citizens, they simply follow whatever that ruler is telling. And if they don't know that we should be not committing sinful activities, then the ruler will not bother about whether there are slaughterhouses in my country, whether there are brothels in my country, whether there are intoxication happening in my country. So they say somebody wants to do it, let them do it. So they are not bothered because they have no understanding of if somebody indulges in these sinful activities, then his future is going to be very, very dark. So he may get a lower form of life. Now the human form of life has come, but this human form of life is not that I can remain in this body forever. We get this for only for few years, maybe 60 years, 70 years. Formerly, the ages of the body used to be little longer in the previous ages because of lot of factors, our food habits, the environment. But in Kali Yuga, this lifespan of human body is maximum is 100 years, but gradually that also goes on reducing. That is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that how prayena alpa ayusha, as the Kali Yuga progresses, the age of the people will start reducing. So we have got this human form of life, but this body does not stay forever. That is described by Prahlad Maharaj also. He says that Durlabham Manusham Janma, it is very, very rarely attained. Adhruvam, and it is not permanent, it is Adhruvam. Any moment it can go. But it is Arthadam, but it can give you the highest benefit. And what is that highest benefit? Freedom from repetition of birth, death, old age and disease. Nobody wants to die. Death is forced upon us. Nobody wants to become old. And old age is forced upon us. Nobody wants to get diseased. Disease is forced upon us. Is it not? None of us wants to die. None of us wants to become old. And we don't want any diseases. Whenever there is disease, there is a vaccine. People are doing so much of research to create vaccines. Why? Because they want that disease should not come. And so many medicines they are working on, discovering. And scientists are also working on something called aging. So they have discovered that our cells are aging. Cells in this body is aging. This body has got different parts. The lungs is there, heart is there, kidneys are there. And gradually what is happening? They are ultimately made of cells. And these cells are aging. And because the cells are aging, the organs are aging, and then the whole body is aging. And somehow, if I can stop that aging of the cells, then you can always remain youthful. So, they are doing research on that, but they can never be successful because the matter always undergoes 6 transformation. It always undergoes this 6 transformation. One day will come, it will deteriorate. So the only thing, and suppose if they do also, then what will happen? Population will increase, no? Nobody is dying. What will happen? The earth has got some capacity. So in this material world, it is not possible that you can stop death or stop aging. Then you have to stop birth also. So that is possible only in the spiritual world. Because there is no birth, there is no death, there is no old age, there is no disease. And there is no scarcity of resources also. In the spiritual world, Krishna can just create like this. If there are more people, Krishna can just create another place for them. So, present situation, Kali Yuga, is very, very hopeless. Do we have a king like Parikshit? Or do we have a king like Yudhishthir Maharaj? We don't have. So, what is the hope for the people of Kali Yuga when there is no ideal king like Parikshit Maharaj? So, that is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Agatir Ekagatim Natva. So, for the hopeless people of this Kali Yuga, the only gati or only hope is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Only by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy only, the people of Kali Yuga, they can be protected. So, although there is no king, ideal king, a Rajarshi who can protect the citizens, but we have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his parampara, which is being represented by Srila Prabhupada. So, under the protection of this disciplic succession, we can be protected. Only under this protection, we can make our life successful and go back to the spiritual world in one life. We don't have to wait for any more births, and that is possible in one life only if we simply follow the path given by Srila Prabhupada, Krishna consciousness, which is based on Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and all the scriptures. If we simply follow this process, then in one life only we can attain perfection and go back to the spiritual world. And also, this matter was discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is already discussed. The purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva, why he compiled Srimad Bhagavatam? It was not in a written format. It was in the parampara system, in the oral disciplic succession. The purpose for Vyasadeva to write Srimad Bhagavatam was, in Kali Yuga, there will be no Rajarshis. There will be no saintly kings. So, how the people can be protected? So, they have to take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the reason Vyasadeva compiles Srimad Bhagavatam, and later on the sages of Naimisharanya, when they were performing a 1,000-year sacrifice, they also had this concern, and because of out of that concern only, they asked this question to Suta Goswami that Krishna Swadhamopagate, now Krishna has gone, and along with Krishna, Dharma and Jnana also has gone. Along with Krishna, the religious principles and also this transcendental knowledge, they both have gone. So, where Dharma has taken shelter now? This was one of the questions asked by the sages of Naimisharanya to Suta Goswami. And Suta Goswami answers that Krishna Swadhamopagate Dharma Jnanadibhisaha Kalau Nashta Drasham Eshaha Puranarko Adhuno Uditaha. So, this Srimad Bhagavatam is arisen just like a sun for the blind people of or who have lost their vision of people of Kali Yuga. So, where is Dharma now? Where we can take shelter? Where we can seek protection? That is in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and Srimad Bhagavatam taught by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his parampara, his disciplic succession, represented by Srila Prabhupada. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told there are 5 devotional practices which can very rapidly make us progress in spiritual life. So, the first item he says, Mathura Vasa, means living in a holy place. So, where is the holy place? Wherever Krishna's glorification is happening, Krishna's worship is happening, that is a holy place. So, we don't have to go to Mathura to live in a holy place. Any place can be made into a holy place if there is a glorification of Krishna. If there is worship of Krishna, that place becomes a holy place. So, the first thing we should make our house a holy place. How we can make? By bringing Krishna into our house. By worshipping Krishna, we can keep the picture of the deities and start worshipping them. Immediately our house becomes a holy place. And if you are bachelors, if you are living in outside rooms or PGs, then immediately we should come and stay in the temple hostels, where all the facilities are there, where you can practice your spiritual life very nicely. So, that is the first item, to live in a holy place. And the next thing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Nama Kirtana, chanting of the holy names of Krishna. Specifically, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, then the next thing is Mathura Vasa, Nama Kirtana, Sadhu Sangha. Actually, first thing is Sadhu Sangha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu Sangha means associating with the devotees. Just like you come to the temple, you meet the devotees, associate with the devotees. So, associating with the devotees and living in a holy place, chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Then the fourth thing is Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam. We should regularly read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. And the fifth thing is worshipping the deity of Krishna, or worshipping the form of Krishna in the form of deity pictures. So Krishna's name, Krishna's form, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's devotees, and Krishna's place. These are the 5 things which are said to make us very rapidly progress in Krishna consciousness. So, we should all try to bring these 5 elements into our daily life. Then automatically we will be protected. Although there are no kings like Parikshit Maharaj, but still we can be protected and we can make progress in spiritual life and ultimately go back to the spiritual world if we follow these 5 things in our life. If there are any questions.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
As I heard about today's class, the only way is to pray God, Lord Krishna. As I read in Bhagavatam, like the Krishna is one of the Lord person of Yudhishthira.
Krishna is one of
Krishna who loved more than Arjuna is Yudhishthira. I have read in the Bhagavatam. The reason is Yudhishthira was Dharmapara. He is doing Dharma. He was not doing any adharma. Is that in that case we need to do Dharma or we need to pray to the God Krishna? We need to follow Krishna. His Dharma only. But my concern is that either we need to follow Dharma or God.
No, Dharma, the definition of Dharma is Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. So what is spoken by Krishna, we have to follow that. Just like Bhagavad Gita is there, in that Krishna has given a lot of instruction. If I am following that, then I am following Dharma. If I am not following Bhagavad Gita, simply doing some things at home, going to some Devi Devatas temples, all those things, they are not considered as the real Dharma. Actually, for every yuga, there is a particular Dharma. Each yuga has got a particular Dharma. It is called Yuga Dharma.
Yuga Dharma.
In Satya Yuga, that was meditation. Okay. In Treta Yuga, that was sacrifices. In Dwapar Yuga, that was deity worship. In Kali Yuga, what is the Dharma?
No, Sankirtana.
Sankirtana. Or chanting of the holy name of Krishna, Japa and Sankirtana. Okay. So, we are into Kali Yuga now. We are not in Satya Yuga. We are not in Treta Yuga. We are not in Dwapar Yuga. We are in Kali Yuga. So, Kali Yuga Dharma is Nama Sankirtana. So, if I am chanting, if I am doing Sankirtan, then I am following Dharma. If I am not doing that, then I am not following any Dharma.
Okay. Okay. As in Karma Sannyasa Yoga, like we are in doing our karmas as per our earlier lives, right?
Yes.
That means that our material body and the soul is different, as you told now. Okay, it's a soul is different. Why the soul has to carry that karma to next body?
Unless one is purified, he has to take another birth. So for that he has to do akarma. He has to do bhakti. The soul has to do bhakti or akarma. Akarma means the actions which doesn't produce a material reaction. So as soon as there is a material reaction, that means your body is already created. So one should not be doing only karma. We should be doing akarma. Akarma means bhakti. Real akarma means bhakti. If you are engaged in devotional service, then all those activities, they are not producing any result. Now, what is my karma? That is also depends on what is your ashrama, what is your varna.
If I do
Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. Then Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. First of all, I should fix these two things. Who am I in this structure? Because my work depends on who am I in this structure. That way I have to act. And that action should be blended with bhakti. So whether I am a Brahmana or I am a Kshatriya or I am Vaishya or I am a Shudra. First of all, we have to fix that. And whether I am a Brahmachari or I am a Grahastha or I am a Vanaprastha or a Sannyasi. Most of us, we will be either Brahmacharya or Grahasthas and will be working somewhere or will be having some business. This is the thing what most of us fall into one particular category. So generally those who are working, so if they have to purify their work, because work involves so many things. We commit a lot of things, unwanted things, irreligious things, sometimes just like in business, you have to tell a lie. You brought some item for 100 rupees.
That has done
you
by
have to sell
material
for
body, right?
200 rupees to
That
make some profit.
has done by material body, right? Not with our Atma.
Now because you are in this material body now, so you have to take care of the body also. You cannot say that I am a soul, but right now where I am. So first of all I should understand what is my situation. Right now I am in this material world which is governed by three modes of material nature. I myself is also under the influence of three modes of material nature, and right now I have got a material body. Although I am the spirit soul, right now I have this body, and this body requires some maintenance. You have to supply food to this. Because I am soul, I cannot say that I will not eat, I will not sleep. So we have to take care of the necessities of this body. So for that you have to do some work, earn some money to take care of yourself. And if you don't want to get entangled by doing that, then you have to sacrifice some of the result of your work for Krishna's purpose. So then it becomes a karma yoga. Otherwise it just becomes a karma, then there is a reaction, then there is another body. So that is called yajna. Yajna means sacrificing something for the pleasure of Krishna. Although it is all given by Krishna only, nothing belongs to us. Simply we exchange. Nothing belongs to us. Everything is already available, and simply we are exchanging, and we have created value system for different things. This is worth this much, this is worth this much. We have created a value system and we are exchanging the property of Krishna. We are exchanging what belongs to Krishna, and we are thinking that this is mine, this is yours. Nothing belongs to us. So what belongs to Krishna, out of that if I take what I need and remaining if I give it to Krishna, then that becomes bhakti. Your work gets purified. We get disentangled. We get disentangled. All the previous karma also get burnt. So that is the way of getting liberated and getting a spiritual body. As long as we are in this material body, we have to, there is a saying, that nahi suptasya simhasya vishanti mukhe murga. Lion is the king of the forest. It is the king of the forest. So because he is the king of the forest, it does not mean that it can simply lie down and animals will come and fall into its mouth. It will keep like that if it sits. Not automatically animals, he is king, I have to go and enter its mouth. That will not happen. So even a king has to go and hunt for its maintenance, that king of forest. So that way, to take care of our body, we have to do some work outside. If you are householder especially, if you are bachelors, there is option to join temple. You don't have to worry about it. If you are householders, then we have to take care of our family, all those things. Then we have to work. And our work should not involve sinful activities. And the result of my work, some portion, I should offer it to Krishna's service. Then my work gets purified. Srila Prabhupada ki.